just when I thought you couldn't possibly find a way to get any dumber show, you go and do something like this and completely verify my previous thoughts and actions towards you. Alright, we're taking a look at Kamen Rider Zi-O episode 18 and Lupinranger vs. Patranger episode 47. Let's get this stupidity out of the way first with, yeah. Well, alright, where to start off with, yeah, it's verified that, the second Waz, who we're just going to be calling White Waz from now on, yeah, he comes from an alternate timeline where Gates manages to defeat Zi-O on Oma Day, which is confirmed to be sometime in 2019, and thus he'll create a second split-off timeline where Gates is basically heralded as the world's savior, and where he'll become known as Gates Revive, or as more commonly depicted by White Waz, he'll just be referred to as the Savior or something like that. But yeah, we got ourselves a long time before we get there. According to White Waz, there's going to be a Kamen Rider that's going to pop up with 3 ride watches from riders that shouldn't exist. And he's going to be the one to defeat Zi-O, and thus prevent the world from the wrath of Zi-O from Oma Day. And it's looking more like it's either going to be Gates or Kamen Rider Gates or Kamen Rider Waz that's going to be having that distinction. Since we've seen that White Waz's goal is to fulfill this prophecy by collecting the 3 ride watches from these divergent Kamen Riders that keep popping up. Yeah, first one being Kamen Rider Shinobi, the next one is going to be Kamen Rider Quizzed, and last but not least, Kamen Rider Kikai. White Waz's goal is to get these 3 Paradox ride watches essentially, and give them to Gates so that he can use their power to go and kill Sogo. But getting these ride watches is going to be a little tricky, especially since, as verified as what I said last time, Schwartz's a little trip through time into this new timeline that was created from, basically the Gates Revive timeline, as I'm going to call it. Yeah, since the future's changing, he went into the future of the Gates Revive timeline, and he's been collecting the ride watches from these 3 future Kamen Riders to give to their 2019 counterparts in order to basically create invincible another riders, starting off with another Shinobi. Now, normally this would actually be a smart idea, creating Kamen Riders creating another riders based off of Kamen Riders in the future, so that there's a future that Gates and Tsukiyomi can't get access to, but mind you, so there's no chance of meeting them, creating a ride watch in order to defeat another rider that their past counterpart was turned into. The problem is that White Waz literally has the power of overriding god-modding bullshit on his side, because like I said before, he has the power of Thoth and Heaven's Door at his disposal. He can rewrite the future as he sees fit. He should be able to win. He has the win button, but no, he just does this stuff because mostly because he just wants to let his savior do it. Let his savior do it. He's basically there to just basically help him out and give him these Deus Ex Machina ways of defeating these supposedly invincible and other riders. And all he really has to do is just write down in his book, and then then these ride watches appear, and then bam, he gets them. Although apparently he needs Sogo or someone to do something for him, because all throughout the episode they've been trying to defeat another Shinobi in several ways. First, just by old-fashioned smacking him, and then White Waz wrote in his book that Sogo was going to run into another Shinobi when he was powered down, and basically try and talk him out of it, and basically just saying to him, look, dude, you're going to get this power on your own eventually. You don't have to become this unholy monster to protect people. But it looks like another Shinobi in this case is one of those another riders that isn't in complete control of himself. Again, this has actually been pretty inconsistent with some of the other riders. Sometimes they're in complete control and are just malicious monster. Sometimes they're in complete control and using their powers as they see fit. Other times they just seem to be conscripted to acting like monsters. The conscripted catalog falls with another build, another ghost, and let me think. That seems to be about it. It seems like the another writers that were in complete control themselves were already just horrible, bad people, as most seen with another Gaim, another O's, and another Phi / another Forze. Yeah, all of them were just really just bad apples. Again, what is supposed to be the function of these and other writers as twisted, unholy parodies of the Kamen Riders they're based off. Basically, they're diametric opposites. The more it seems like the more evil the person themselves that become the person who is more twisted and corrupted, the more in control of themselves they when they become the another rider. And yeah, since Schwartz is basically using the guys who will become these future Kamen Riders in this divergent timeline to become another Riders, they're basically just less in control and just more or less mindless beasts. And this is where Sogo's little talk comes in. And yeah, because all throughout this fight, Sogo is just smacking down another Shinobi, forcing him to power down, and Schwartz just keeps ripping out the another Ride Watch and resetting it as is per normal procedure. But then at one point, let's see, I forget the guy's name. Well, future Shinobi, whatever. Let's just call him that because these future Kamen Riders. Let's just face it, they're never gonna happen. They're just the result of a divergent timeline. And yeah, they basically are not going to be canon. Let's just get that straight here. Anyways, Shinobi basically just gives the whole "I'll claim this power of my own hand" speech. I don't need your help, even though he does forcibly get turned into another Shinobi again. And somehow this gives White Waz the opportunity to write down in his book then the Shinobi Ride Watch appears before Waz, and then bam, Waz gets the Shinobi Ride Watch, which is only compatible with his Beyond driver. Yeah, I finally figured out the name of Kamen Rider Waz's driver, the Beyond driver. Cute, real cute. And yeah, again, why would White Waz even need to do this? Why would he need Sogo to go and give the inspirational speech to Shinobi when he could just write down in his book, the Shinobi Ride Watch appears before me inside of a white box with a silk ribbon on there. He literally could have just had a gift wrapped to him. But he needs to go through all these unnecessary hoops in order to set up the circumstances for his Ride Watches to appear, and just it's unnecessary, it's stupid, and it's just padding. Congratulations, show. You are now officially just wasting our time. And speaking of wasted time, apparently because these new Kamen Riders and these new another Riders are created from Kamen Riders in the Gates Savior timeline, Gates and Tsukiyomi can't travel into the future in order to visit the Kamen Rider counterparts and get the Ride Watches from them, since they come from the Zi-O timeline. They basically can't cross their own time. They can't cross into an opposing timeline. So basically the show is now trying to blend Back to the Future rules of time travel and Dragon Ball Z rules of multiverse theory together. Okay, so this happened in Back to the Future 2. This also happened in Back to the Future Part 2. When Marty said to try and just go back in time. Wait, hang on, let me see. Oh yeah, to go back to 2015 and stop Biff from going back to 1955. Yeah, Doc said, no, we can't, because if we go into the future from this point in time, we'll be going into the future of this reality. So yeah, back to Zi-O, since the future's changing, Gates and Tsukiyomi can't just go and travel back to 2022, because it's not the 2022 that they from their timeline. Okay, that part does make it a little bit easier to swallow, but again, this is kind of contradicted when White Waz can just make these Ride Watches appear out of thin air. Oh yeah, and there was also that other thing. Tsukasa's still running around. Okay, granted, we haven't seen him since let's see, when was that? We haven't seen Tsukasa for about since the New Year's episode. So no idea what he's doing. Maybe something happened in Heisei Generations Forever to maybe he's finally wandered off somewhere, or maybe he's going to be coming back. I don't know. And yeah, speaking of, yeah, shouldn't the events of that movie mean that Sogo or Gates have some more ride watches at their disposal? I mean, yeah, we see from spoilers that the three and other riders that are going to show up in that movie are another Double, another Den-O, and another Kuga. So, did they have those ride watches on them, or are they just going to be used later, or are they movie exclusive? And, God, I'm putting too much thought into this again. I really should stop doing that. Bad, bad, bad. So yeah, basically at the end of the episode, Waz is second White Waz is all just too eager to give Gates the first of these three Paradox Ride watches to basically fulfill the prophecy, but Gates is like, no, I'm going to defeat Zi-O on my own terms. And well, he's like, okay, sure, you'll come around to trust me eventually. Don't you worry, Savior. And then he just blows away. And so next week we're going to be getting introduced to Kamen Rider Quiz. Alright, yeah, so yeah, for the next couple of arcs with Quiz and Kikai, they are literally going to be resolved with Deus Ex Machina. Good job, guys. You have written yourselves completely into a corner and have to God mod your way out. Brilliant. And speaking of modifications, we have Lupinranger vs. Patranger episode 47, where we start off with Zamigo getting a new Gangler safe installed to him thanks to Ghosh, so he can have access to a collection piece, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense since Zamigo already has 2 status gold vaults on him. I mean, I don't remember him having a collection piece on him beforehand. So what does Amigo just keep? Does Amigo have like 2 secret collection pieces on him that we haven't seen before? I mean, it's already been confirmed that Zamigo doesn't have any collection pieces, so why would he need this third one installed into him just to use this new collection piece that he has now? I mean, he could just put one inside of him. I mean, unless he already. Oh wait, unless he already has 2 new collection pieces inside of his gold vaults. And so with the third one installed, they're going to need both teams are going to come up with some really complicated way of getting the vaults open. Especially since this new collection piece that Zamigo has basically turns him into Hydro Man. Yeah, this collection piece allows Amigo to become completely turn his body into water and become completely intangible and thus impervious to physical attacks. So even with Super Lupin Red, which gives it, another way that King Crimson has failed. This should not be a good thing because, yeah, they introduced Super Lupin Red as having this super powerful ability, but it is being nerfed in a way that does make sense. It's just, I mean, they introduced it a couple of episodes ago, and it's still nerfed. But it is up against incredibly powerful enemies, like general grade monsters. So I don't know how to feel about this. But anyway, speaking of conflicting emotions, Sakuya still wants to believe that Umika and the rest of the what's the name of their bistro again? Juror, yeah. Basically, that the Lupin Rangers are not the Lupin Rangers, since, yeah, during the New Year's episode, Keitro managed to spell it out for them, but he still wants to believe her, so he basically goes and calls Umika out for lunch, and basically just starts to, basically just kind of, trying to wiggle out an answer, a connection based on what he's already learned. Basically, he's just trying to suss out a, basically it's kind of an interrogation. Yeah, basically it's it's basically an interrogation. Basically just oh yeah, did you know that this happened 2 years ago? Did you have friends that were involved with this mass disappearance case? And yeah, thankfully Kairi and Tuma managed to tag along and hide themselves. because yeah, Umika, yeah, she would most likely blab. She has not exactly been she's not exactly the most well, eloquent and misdirecting of the Lupinranger. She's basically been kind of a bit of a ditz, not an idiot, never, no, no, no. It's just that she would be more likely to blab if somebody said her. Basically, she would just. Yeah, she would be one most. She would basically be the easiest to wriggle a confession out of. But thankfully, the whole dinner date, the whole lunch date, then got interrupted by not only Zamigo going on a rampage, but yeah, also Ghosh has basically decided to throw her hat into the ring and confront the Patrangers. And she's got herself a new toy. She's got herself a new, more combat-focused collection piece. In addition to the three she already has, the binoculars, the one that makes monsters grow, and this new one that gives her an arm blade that basically can cut through anything, even Lupin X's invincibility shields. So yeah, they are basically screwed, and she's just gonna carve up anyone she can get her hands on. And yet, while they were fighting, Ghosh starts to go on a rampage to just start demolishing buildings and undoubtedly leading to massive casualties. And even had her scalpel, even has her big old oversized scalpel focused on the Patrangers, until Noel basically offers himself to basically satiate her bloodlust. He agreed to let himself be taken hostage by her in exchange for the Patrangers and basically to stop her rampage. Yeah, so he gives the Patrangers all of his collection pieces, and then goes along with Ghosh, who in turn brings him to Don Grandio. And Noel is face to face with the man with the monster who murdered his father figure. And he mentions, let's see. He mentions something interesting about Del Grandio, aside from his status gold vault. It's something along the effects of null damage, basically. Physical protect. Yeah, that's it. And I'm betting that's the effect of Del Grandio's collection piece. Basically, it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest collection piece. And Del Grandio's, it renders him completely invincible to physical attacks. And not just by turning his body intangible like with Amigo, but no. The physical attacks will not be able to harm him. So yeah, the Don is not only super... I still remember back in like the 8th or so episode where, just literally by brushing the dust off of his arm, and just a saw blade from his arm was able to just completely wreck Sakuya and Tsukasa. And also one of his gang lore, but that's whatever. So yeah, this 999-year-old monster mobster has a collection piece that literally makes him invincible, and he can most likely destroy all of Japan by snapping his fingers if he wanted to. Yeah, this guy is... You can see why he's the boss. He is the boss. But yeah, Noel is basically at Del Grandio's mercy. The Lupinrangers are still in the dark. Sakuya is still conflicted about Umika and Tuma and Kairi, and the Patrangers are completely tunnel visioned on Zamigo and his newfound invincibility. And yeah, the guy, even with Super Lupin Red, they can't do anything to him. He is invincible, and he's just laughing and laughing, and yeah. So yeah, we're approaching the climax with Lupinranger versus Patranger, and with Zi-O, we are circling the bull. So, what else is new? So see you when I see ya. Bye-bye.